CMS TV News, I'm Raisa Enzam. First with the headlines. NHS watchdog faces cover-up claim. Families can sue for Iraq damages, and football fixtures for 2013 and 2014 are announced. Now the details. England's healthcare regulator may have covered up knowledge of its own failings after a series of baby deaths at Cumbria Hospital, reporters say. The review looked at the Care Quality Commission's response to complaints about several deaths at Furness General Hospital in Barrow. It identifies a dysfunctional working relationship with the organisation. The CQC admits giving false assurance to the public in 2010, but said there was no evidence of a cover-up. The investigation was carried out by the consultancy firm Grant Thornton on the behalf of CQC. In 2008, 9-day-old Joshua Timcombe died from a treatable infection after being born in the hospital's maternity ward. His death and those 3 other babies and 2 mothers led to growing concern about the care standards and prompted a complaint to the CQC. Also in the news, a British Muslim leader from London who has been indicted in Bangladesh for war crimes has said he is willing to face a fair trial to clear his name. Chaudhry Muin Uddin, 64, who was born in Bangladesh, is accused of playing a role in the abduction and killing of 18 people during the 1971 Liberation War from Pakistan. Mr. Muin Uddin lives in North London with his wife and 4 children. He admits supporting the unity of Pakistan but denies war crimes. He is accused of being a member of the Islamic al-Badr group during the war which fought to prevent Bangladesh from gaining independence by identifying and killing pro-independence activists, including academics and journalists. Moving on to the world news. US President Barack Obama is to use his speech at Berlin's Brandenburg Gate to propose cuts of 1/3 in American and Russian nuclear arsenals, US official says. They say he will also call for reduction in the number of tactical warheads deployed in Europe. Before that, he will hold talks with Chancellor Angela Merkel. Mr. Obama's visit comes after G8 leaders backed calls for holding Syrian peace talks in Geneva as soon as possible. Mr. Obama also wants to reduce the number of tactical nuclear weapons deployed in Europe, a move Russia has resisted in the past. This is Mr. Obama's first visit to Berlin as American president. In other news, the families of soldiers killed in Iraq can sue the government for damages under the Human Rights Act, the Supreme Court has ruled. The case was brought by relatives of 3 men killed by roadside bombs while in snatched Land Rovers in Iraq. The court rejected the government's argument that the battlefield was beyond the reach of legislation. Judges also ruled the Ministry of Defense owes soldiers a duty of care under the law negligency. They backed a previous ruling by the Court's appeal that the relatives of 2 soldiers killed in Iraq could bring claims for damages against the Ministry of Defense for negligence in failing to provide sufficient protection while on active service. During the ruling, the Supreme Court Justice also said the soldiers killed in Iraq in snatched Land Rovers were within the UK's jurisdiction at the time of their death and so were subject to human rights legislation. The family's claims will now be able to proceed to trial to determine if the MOD owes damages. Coming up in the business news, jail reckless bankers report urges, and in sport, league fixtures Man United, Chelsea and Manchester City openers. Moving on to the business news. Senior bankers' quality of reckless misconduct should be jailed, a long-awaited report on banking commission by the government has recommended. The Parliamentary Commission on Banking Standards was set up by Chancellor George Osborne last year after a number of scandals involving the industry. The cross-party group's fifth report attacked the lack of accountability of bankers and also said some bonuses should be withheld up to 10 years. The Treasury has welcomed the report and it called it a very impressive piece of work and promised to provide a response before the summer recess. Where legislation is needed, we have said we will support it, and the banking bill currently before Parliament can be amended to ensure they are quickly enacted, a spokesman added. The 571-page report also called on the government to review the alternatives for selling off the Royal Bank of Scotland, including breaking it up, and demand an action to make the banking market more competitive. Within the sport news, Manchester United manager David Moyes has been handed a first match in the charge Swansea as the full 2013 and 2014 football fixtures are announced. Jose Mourinho starts his second spell at Chelsea with a home game against nearly prompted Hull on August the 17th. Manuel Pellegrini's first game in charge of Manchester City is against Newcastle at the Etihad Stadium. Following their promotion from the champions, Cardiff travel to West Ham and Crystal Palace host Tottenham. Relegated Queen's Park Rangers start life in the Championship with a home game against Sheffield on Wednesday, the 3rd of August. In Scotland, Celtic begin the defence of the SPL title with a home game against Ross County. Rangers begin life in the Scottish Second Division at home Brechin. Now the weather news. Heavy and thundery showers across southern England, clearing through the morning. Otherwise, most parts remain fine and dry, apart from a few showers mainly across northwest Scotland and southern England. Feeling warm and humid, particularly in the far southeast. That's the CMS News today. I'm Raisa Enzam. Have a pleasant day.